I have a really fascinating clip to play for you from CNN where Dana Bash asks the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, who is in the running to be Trump's vice presidential running mate, what her thoughts are on abortion rights. And this comes within the context of both the conversation because of the big news in Arizona with the Arizona Supreme Court upholding that Civil War era law that bans almost all abortions. The only carve out is for the life of the mother, but not the health or rape or incest or anything. And since then, Trump, Kari Lake, and other Republicans have been backtracking from their stance on abortion. The outrage is being felt even by them. And then also important to keep in mind as you watch this clip is that there's a law currently in South Dakota that bans all abortions except for the life of the mother. And that's the state, of course, that Kristi Noem represents. And you'll notice even a conservative governor from a conservative state, probably in part because she's trying to become Trump's presidential running mate, is afraid to directly answer the question of what do you believe should be the law? Are you for your own state's law? Are you for this Arizona law? And Kristi Noem is desperately trying to avoid answering the question directly, as we've seen now with so many of these Republicans, because these horrible laws are so unpopular. And eventually Dana Bash does a really good job of cornering her into answering the question.
After what happened in Arizona when a civil rights era law came back and is now the law of the land there, the former president Donald Trump said that that state law goes too far. The law in your state is similar. It's an abortion ban, including areas where a woman is raped or in times of incest.
I'm going to really quickly pause your viewing of this video to ask you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Just click that subscribe button plus the like button as well and the alert bell so you get notifications. Back to it.
So do you believe that the law in your state goes too far, just as he said about Arizona? Are you with him on that, or do you think that he's wrong?
You know, it's interesting because the law in my state was passed decades before I ever became governor. It was a trigger law that said when Roe v. Wade became overturned, that this would be the law that would go into place. So that may be a topic that will continue to be discussed in South Dakota. Our law today allows an exception to save the life of the mother, but the people in South Dakota will decide what their laws look like.
What do you think it should look like?
I can have an opinion and I can weigh forward.
Right. No, we know you can have an opinion, and we know the people eventually can choose through their elected officials. But what do you believe? What is your opinion?
I can weigh forward and I can look at the science and what we've learned about babies in the womb and to believe that we should protect life. But I think that our law today is what South Dakota wants, and they'll continue to have that debate, and I'll continue to follow through on my role, which is to make sure the will of the people is enforced.
Do you think there should be exceptions for rape and incest, for example?
And I think that every state's going to look different. That's what's different, Dana, is that I've constantly looked, and we rely in South Dakota on the fact that I'm pro-life, and we have a law that says that there is an exception for the life of the mother. And I just don't believe a tragedy should perpetuate another tragedy. I believe in taking care of mothers that are in a crisis situation, and that we should be walking alongside them, giving them all the information and the best information they can make before they have to be put in a situation where an abortion is the only option that they have. So I'll continue to do that and love mothers and families through these situations, recognizing that they are often challenging and scary, and many times they're feeling very alone. And in South Dakota, I hope that that's never our story.
So she added a lot of buzzwords and fluffy language there, but she did sort of address the question by saying, I don't think a tragedy should perpetuate another tragedy. And what she means is, for example, in the case of rape, a victim of rape should be forced by the state to birth the rapist's child, because otherwise the tragedy of rape would have led to the tragedy of abortion, is the argument that Kristi Noem is making there. So you can add all the buzzwords, focus grouped phrasing that you want. That's the stance that you're advocating on behalf of. And I think it's really notable, obviously, her saying that, but we sort of knew that given that she's okay with the law in her state being a near total abortion ban. But it's really notable that this is the type of responses we're getting, even from people who are supposed to be proudly, completely pro-life. Life starts at conception, but then they'll be so panicked about just giving a straight answer You ask a Democrat, are you okay with the Arizona law or the South Dakota law? It could be a clear no. But she says, oh, the people, they're going to decide. And I have my opinions, but other people have their opinions. We're going to do what's best for everyone. We want to help women, and we want to help babies, and we want to help everyone. So your answer is, huh? What is your answer? And then you get it. Okay, so you are for stripping away the rights of women, even going as far as to say that rape and incest shouldn't be exceptions. And that is indicative of this current moment where the outrage is being felt so profoundly that even super conservative Republicans from some of the most conservative states aren't willing to say in interviews like this one that, yeah, I'm proud, right? They've been fighting for this forever. But now you get a bunch of gobbledygook and you get a bunch of dancing around, squirming, trying to wiggle out of answering the question directly. But this is what you've been fighting for so long. Aren't you proud of it? But no, they understand the political liability that this is causing. And I do think that it's sort of one of the most aggravating things that I can possibly imagine. People advocating on behalf of something, then being successful in their effort, and creating a country and a set of conditions in that country that's causing so much harm that they then have to turn around and sort of rewrite the record and are super embarrassed to admit this is the world they wanted to create, or this is the country they wanted to create. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing Trump say, I don't know, all states can sort of do what they want, and anything good, give me credit, anything bad, don't blame me for it. And Carrie Lake saying, I don't know, I'm against this Arizona Supreme Court law. Here, Kristi Noem also being really uncomfortable and not answering it directly. No, if this is what you wanted, then stand by it and accept the political outcome that you're going to receive, right? If you work for decades as a movement to allow for these sorts of bans to be enabled with the overturning of Roe v. Wade and then with the passage of some of these laws or these trigger laws going into effect, then stand by it. Stand by the fact that that's you. You did that. And then let us vote accordingly. But they're trying to abstract it a bunch and pretend like that's not the reality that we're in so that people won't vote accordingly. Here's a ad that Gavin Newsom recently posted that emphasizes the dangerousness of some of these laws. And he captioned it, Alabama's abortion ban has no exceptions for rape or incest. Now, Republicans are trying to criminalize, so this is being targeted at Alabama, are trying to criminalize young women's travel to receive abortion care. We cannot let them get away with this. And this is what we're seeing from some Republicans, not just banning abortion in their state, but trying to prevent women from traveling to other states to get the reproductive care that they need.
We're almost there. You're gonna make it.
Trump Republicans want to criminalize young Alabama women who travel for reproductive care.
Miss, I'm gonna need you to step out of the vehicle, take a pregnancy test.
Stop them by taking action at righttotravel.org. Campaign for Democracy Group is responsible for the content of this advertising.
So brutal, but absolutely correct. And then here's Kristi Noem defending the person that she wants to be the VP running mate for, Donald Trump, amid his first criminal trial.
I just want to push on this question of what actually happened, because Donald Trump himself acknowledged in 2018 that he authorized payments to Stormy Daniels and reimbursed Michael Cohen. We actually have the reimbursement checks to Cohen signed by Donald Trump. So those are the facts. Are you comfortable with this?
Michael Cohen worked for President Trump. President Trump paid his legal fees. He paid his Michael Cohen legal fees and bills, and that's what this trial will bring forward, hopefully, is the truth. What a ridiculous case that this is.
Yeah, so a similar argument we hear from Trump there. We'll see if it works in court, but I don't think it's compelling to say, no, it really was a legal expense. Just because Michael Cohen was Trump's lawyer doesn't mean that everything Trump gives to Michael Cohen in the form of money is automatically a legal expense, when the reimbursement was for the exact amount that Michael Cohen had paid to Stormy Daniels. And so the issue here is that the falsification of business records and labeling this as something that it wasn't was an effort to cover up the fact that they were violating campaign finance law. So we'll see how it all plays out. But also, Dana Bash seemed to be asking, separate from the potential criminality, that'll be sorted out in court. Is it not at all problematic to you that what this was about was a payment to a porn star that Trump had an affair with while he was married and trying to keep her quiet? Does that not, as the party of family value, does that not bother you at all? Separate from if he gets convicted based on the potential criminality, just the morality under your framework, does that not bother you at all? And Kristi Noem obviously didn't answer the question on that. But party of family values, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you thought of all that in the comments.